So some information came out that I thought was very interesting, and it really kind of revolves possibly around Microsoft's strategy for future Xboxes or, whatever. I think that the term Xbox maybe at this particular point is used weirdly or whatever, because I don't think Xbox is going to mean what we think of as Xbox in the futures or whatever. So, honestly, I honestly think that Microsoft is trying to sort of bow out the way that would save face a little bit. Like, you can't just, I don't think they're at a point where they could just go, okay, we're not going to do anything. And so that's where this report comes in. According to this anyway, Xbox's next piece of hardware, or Xbox Next, will be a reference design, quote unquote, for manufacturers to make their own devices. So you guys might remember this terrible thing called Steam machines from years ago, and so many people were like, "Oh man, that's the end of consoles, man. The Steam machine, it's going to kill the consoles," and nobody bought them. Why did nobody buy them? Because PC gamers like to build their stuff, right, and upgrade it and all that kind of stuff, and console gamers were happy with their consoles and didn't want to play on Steam and things like that. It just is what it is, But anyway, the next Xbox is going to be a very different gaming device compared to its predecessors, according to rumors circulating online. According to Windows Central Jez Gordon, Microsoft's next-gen console will likely be a reference device with a heavy Windows slant for manufacturers to make their own devices. Like the Surface Pro 11 is a Surface device for AI PCs. This would be a huge departure from the previous Xbox consoles, as it would essentially make it a PC that could potentially run Steam games as well, and thus even former PlayStation exclusives available on Valve's digital store like Ghost of Tsushima's Director's Cut or God of War. Jez Gordon using the Surface Pro 11 as an example is interesting, as it was rumored earlier in the year that the Xbox Next development is being led by the Surface team. The next Microsoft console is also said to be releasing in multiple SKUs, including a handheld that will be capable of running games natively while also supporting cloud gaming. As of now, very little is known about the next Xbox other than that it's in the works and that it will deliver the largest technical leap ever seen. How this will be achieved remains to be seen, but it's likely that software and storage advancements will play a big part, as simply doubling specs such as RAMs would not be economically viable. So again, I've always said this, right? So Microsoft is like, I don't think they understand the business that they're in completely. I mean, you can't. How could you be doing, I just don't see how they can understand gaming or at least they think they understand. They don't understand it. It's a huge problem. And when you look at this and, I'm sitting there going, it's kind of crazy the way that they think of these things. And then I look at this post from earlier in the year, right? Now, keep in mind that this is from January of this year, okay? And this guy was in a Discord, and this was before, you guys might remember, before the big Xbox developer showcase where they revealed Indiana Jones, where we found out that the Indiana Jones game looks like Harrison Ford, but is voiced by Troy Baker, as well as it being in first person for the most part. This was before that, so we didn't know that. So this is what he says. He says Xbox will probably announce their multi-platform plans late next month or right before the fiscal year ends. Now, this is on 1/15/2024, which they did, right? They announced it about a month later. He goes, I guess Xbox is just going fully multi-platform and more third-party-ish. A few of the latter stuff they originally planned as exclusives have been completely swapped for multi-platform releases, and also in talks with some manufacturers to make their version of Xbox consoles. So again, this was all stated in January of this year, right? And so we know stuff like Doom was going to be exclusive at one point, and now it looks like day and date. Blade, for example, has no console attached to it. He also says, only their consoles, like how their third-party controllers, these are pretty much going to be official third-party consoles that can run Xbox games. id Software's next game is no longer an Xbox exclusive and will be multi-platform. So, boom, looks like that came true. It says Bethesda's next few games that were exclusive have also been pushed to multi-platform instead. Flight Sim will be multi-platform, and a few older first party IPs are also going to be multi-platform. So, again, this he could be talking about like Sea of Thieves, all this kind of stuff. There's rumors of Gears and stuff. It says Indiana Jones has, it's a little weird because he's modeled after Harrison Ford to the full extent, but being voiced by Troy Baker. Most of the games is also first person, including whip combat, and Hideo Kojima is finally making a movie. So the stuff that this guy is saying way back in January of this year is definitely come true. And it's really, really kind of a shame or whatever. I'm looking at this, I'm kind of thinking to myself, what in the world is Microsoft doing here, right? Like, so what do we get from any of this stuff, right? As Xbox fans, what did we get? What did we end up getting as fans, exclusive-wise? Like, they've owned Obsidian for a while now. And the only games that they've come out with is Pentiment and Grounded. Both those moved elsewhere, including Nintendo. Avowed, is that going to stay exclusive? I have my doubts. Indiana Jones, is that going to stay exclusive? I seriously doubt it. You will always have people go, oh, well, you know what? I think Game Pass is a reason to keep Xbox. To me, buying a complete fucking console for, $500-$600 and having a rental system, having a rental service that's over $200 a year, is not a reason to buy a console, right? Like, if I wanted to GameFly stuff and play those games, I could do that for pretty much the same price, I buy Xbox for the Xbox exclusives, the experiences that aren't available elsewhere on other consoles, right? I buy Nintendo platform for Nintendo games, those that aren't available otherwhere, Same thing with PlayStation. If I could buy PlayStation games like God of War on an Xbox, or if I could buy Nintendo games like Zelda on an Xbox, why the hell would I need those platforms, right? So again, I always look at competition as a great thing in the industry. If you look back to the Xbox 360 PS3 era, you can see why competition was such a great thing, because you had a situation where gamers had, one great thing like achievements, and then Sony had to follow suit with trophies. You had Party Chat by Microsoft, and then Sony had to copy that as well. Then you had Sony do free games with PlayStation Plus, which made Microsoft have to do games with gold. Sony would let you watch Netflix for free. That made Microsoft have to do the same thing, whereas they used to be paywall behind gold to be able to do that. So yeah, there's all these different things that kind of come about from these things, but again, having third-party Xboxes sounds terrible, and having like PC stores degrade the Xbox experience, which a console is supposed to be a closed box. When you start introducing PC stuff to it, you start introducing the ability to cheat and hacks and all that kind of stuff. So that sounds horrible as well. Just really nothing good from this. Anyway, I'll link this. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.